The Great Hall of the Galactic Council had never seen such panic. 12 different alien species sat around the massive circular table, their faces showing fear that had not been felt for over 300 years. The last time the galaxy had gathered in such emergency was during the Void War, when an entire star system had been consumed by unknown forces. Ambassador Veltar of the Nexian Empire stood at the center of the hall. His blue skin had turned pale, and his forearms shook as he held the datapad containing the battle reports. The tall alien had survived countless wars, but nothing had prepared him for what he was about to share. "Fellow council members," Veltar began, his voice echoing in the silent chamber. "3 days ago, our forces engaged a new species near the outer rim. These beings call themselves humans." A low murmur ran through the council. The Calarian representative, a creature that looked like a cross between a lizard and a bird, clicked his beak nervously. "We know about first contact protocols, Veltar. Why call an emergency session?" Veltar activated the holographic display above the table. Images of destruction filled the air. Burned Calarian ships floated in space like broken toys. Because this was not first contact. This was a massacre. The council members leaned forward. The images showed battle damage unlike anything they had seen before. Calarian ships, known for their strong armor, had been torn apart with surgical precision. Energy burns marked places where weapons had cut through metal like it was paper. "The humans had no warning," Veltar continued. "Our intelligence said their planet had just discovered faster-than-light travel 50 years ago. They should have been easy to defeat. We sent 3 battle groups to their outer colonies. Standard pacification, mission." The Vorthon delegate, a being made of living crystal, chimed with a sound like breaking glass. "Pacification implies resistance. Surely primitive humans could not resist 3 battle groups." Veltar's expression grew darker. "They did not just resist, they destroyed us." The hologram changed to show tactical data. Numbers and statistics filled the air in glowing text. The council members read in growing horror. 3 Calarian battle groups, Veltar read from his notes. 47 ships total, over 15,000 trained warriors, advanced energy shields, plasma cannons, and gravitic missiles, against 1 human colony defended by a single battalion. "A battalion?" The crystal being's voice rose higher. "How many humans is that?" 800 soldiers, Veltar replied. 800 humans with basic metal projectile weapons and simple chemical explosives. Silence fell over the council like a heavy blanket. The numbers did not make sense. Advanced alien technology should have crushed primitive human weapons. "The battle lasted 72 hours, Veltar continued. "When it ended, we had lost 31 ships and over 12,000 warriors. The humans lost 63 soldiers. A Nexian female named Zil-Andra spoke up. Her voice carried the authority of someone who had commanded fleets. "That is impossible. Our weapons are centuries ahead of theirs. Our shields alone should have stopped their attacks." Veltar touched the control pad again. Video footage began playing. The council watched as human soldiers moved through the wreckage of alien ships. They moved with a purpose and efficiency that was frightening to watch. "Watch their tactics," Veltar said quietly. "They do not fight like any species we know." On the screen, a human soldier threw a small device into an alien ship. The explosion that followed was perfectly timed and placed. The ship's power core went critical, destroying 2 nearby vessels. "They target weak points we did not know existed," Veltar explained. "They adapt to our weapons faster than our computers can calculate new strategies. And they never, ever give up." The footage continued. A group of human soldiers had been surrounded by Calarian warriors. Instead of surrendering, they had turned the trap into an ambush, using the terrain and their enemies' own weapons against them. The humans had eliminated a force 3 times their size. "There is more," Veltar said, and his voice dropped to almost a whisper. "We intercepted their communications during the battle." The sounds of human voices filled the chamber. The alien translation systems worked to convert the words into understandable speech. "Alpha Squad, this is Bravo. We're holding the North Ridge. These lizard guys aren't too tough." Copy that, Bravo. Charlie Squad just took out their command. Ship, this is easier than the training exercises back home. Roger. Hey, did you hear? Command is thinking about sending some Special Forces units to the next engagement. Special Forces? For this? Seems like overkill. We're doing fine with regular infantry. The recording stopped. The council chamber remained silent for long moments. Finally, the Calarian delegate spoke, his voice barely above a whisper. Special Forces? He asked. What are Special Forces? Veltar looked around the table at the frightened faces of the galaxy's most powerful leaders. We do not know, but based on these communications, the humans we fought were called regular infantry, standard soldiers, basic troops, the crystal being chimed with a sound like shattering. If these were their basic soldiers, what are their elite forces like? That, Veltar said, is why we called this emergency session. The hologram changed again, showing intercepted human military communications from the past 3 days. Fragments of conversations appeared in glowing text above the table. 7th Infantry did well at Calaris Colony. Minimal casualties, objective secured. Captain Lee Dongwu reports enemy resistance was lighter than expected. Admiral Kim Tae-ho recommends continuing standard deployment protocols. No need for enhanced units. Dr. Choi Mi-young's after-action report suggests alien technology is less advanced than initially thought. Each message made the council members more nervous. The humans spoke about the battle like it had been a minor training exercise. They discussed alien technology with casual dismissal. They call their weapons kinetic projectiles. Veltar continued. Simple metal bullets fired by chemical explosives. According to our scientists, these should not penetrate our armor. Yet, somehow they do. The Nexian female leaned back in her chair. How is this possible? We believe it is not just their weapons, Veltar replied. It is how they use them. Human soldiers show tactical thinking we have never encountered. They fight as individuals but coordinate as a single organism. They adapt to new situations instantly, and they show no fear. More footage played on the hologram. A single human soldier had been cut off from his unit, surrounded by Calarian warriors. Instead of panicking, he had used the environment around him to create weapons and traps. By the time rescue arrived, he had eliminated 7 enemies and was still fighting. This soldier was listed as Private Nam Ki-woo in their records, Veltar said. A new recruit with less than 1 year of training. The council members exchanged worried glances. If human recruits fought like elite warriors, what did that say? About their actual elite forces? We have been monitoring their communications, Veltar continued. They reference units called Rangers, SEALs, Delta Force, and others. These appear to be their special forces. The regular soldiers speak about them with what can only be described as awe. Awe? The crystal being asked. Their own soldiers fear their elite units? Not fear, Veltar corrected. Respect. The kind of respect soldiers show for legends. The implications hung in the air like a toxic cloud. If regular human soldiers could destroy advanced alien forces, what could their special forces do? There is one more thing, Veltar said reluctantly. During the battle, we detected energy signatures unlike anything in our databases, weapons and equipment that should not exist with their level of technology. What kind of energy signatures? Asked the Vorthon delegate. We do not know. Our sensors could not identify the source. But whatever they were using, it was more advanced than anything we possess. The council chamber erupted in worried conversation. Different species spoke in their native languages, but the fear was universal. Humanity had announced itself to the galaxy by defeating an advanced military force using supposedly primitive weapons. Veltar raised his hands for silence. The question before us is simple, he said. What do we do about humanity? The Calarian delegate stood up slowly. We must assume they are hostile. No species developed such military capability for peaceful purposes. But they only defended their colony, the Nexian female pointed out. They did not pursue our forces when they retreated. Perhaps they were planning something worse, the crystal being suggested. Maybe they wanted us to escape so we could report back. Veltar nodded grimly. That is what concerns us most. The humans knew we were watching. Their communications were not encrypted. They wanted us to hear about their special forces. The reality of the situation settled over the council like a cold shadow. Humanity had sent a message without saying a word. They had demonstrated that their regular forces could destroy anything the galaxy sent against them, and they had made sure everyone knew that these regular forces were not their best. As the emergency session continued into the night, one thing became clear to every member of the Galactic Council. The galaxy had a new apex predator, and it called its most dangerous warriors special forces. The age of galactic peace was over. 2 weeks after the emergency council session, the Calarian Dominion made a decision that would change everything. They had to know more about human military capabilities, especially these mysterious special forces. Fear was not enough anymore. They needed intelligence. Commander Thekvar stood on the bridge of the stealth ship Silent Wing. His reptilian features were tight with concentration as he studied the star charts. The ship was the most advanced reconnaissance vessel in the Calarian fleet, equipped with technology that could hide it from almost any sensor. Target system ahead, reported his navigation officer. The humans call it Sol. Their home world is the third planet. Thekvar nodded. Take us to the outer edge of the system. Maximum stealth protocols. I want to know what we are dealing with before they know we exist. The Silent Wing entered human space like a ghost. Its advanced cloaking systems bent light and energy around it, making it invisible to primitive human sensors. At least that was what Calarian scientists had promised. As they approached the inner system, the crew began detecting human military installations. The numbers were disturbing. Sir, the sensor officer called out, his voice shaking slightly. I am reading multiple orbital defense platforms around the fourth planet, and the asteroid belt has been turned into a massive mining and construction facility. Thekvar looked at the tactical display. Red dots marked human military positions throughout the solar system. There were far more than expected. How many ships? He asked. I count over 200 vessels of various sizes, the officer replied, and that is just what we can see. There may be more hidden. 200 ships. The Calarian Dominion had sent 47 ships to attack one human colony and been destroyed. This was humanity's home system, and it was protected by a fleet 5 times larger. Take us closer to the third planet, Thekvar ordered. But stay hidden. We need to find their training facilities. Earth grew larger on the view screen as they approached. The planet was beautiful, covered in blue oceans and white clouds. But the beauty was deceptive. Orbital scans revealed massive military installations on every continent. Sir, I have found something, the communications officer announced. There is a large military complex in the northern continent, multiple training areas, weapons testing ranges, and what appears to be specialized facilities. Show me, Thekvar commanded. The main screen displayed a detailed view of a human military base. Soldiers moved in organized formations across training fields. Vehicles practiced maneuvers. Aircraft flew overhead in precise patterns. These appeared to be regular forces, the sensor officer noted. Standard infantry training. Thekvar studied the images carefully. These were the humans who had destroyed 3 Calarian battle groups. They looked so ordinary. Bipedal, about 2 meters tall, with no obvious physical advantages. Yet they had fought like demons. Wait, the communications officer said suddenly. I am detecting different training areas. These ones are different. The screen shifted to show another part of the base. This area was more isolated, surrounded by higher security barriers. The soldiers training there moved differently, faster, more precisely. Record everything, Thekvar ordered. I want detailed analysis of their training methods. For hours, they watched human soldiers practice combat techniques. The regular infantry was impressive enough, showing coordination and skill that matched veteran alien units. But the isolated training areas revealed something else entirely. A small group of humans was conducting an exercise that made the observer's blood run cold. 6 soldiers approached a heavily fortified position defended by automated weapons and energy barriers. The position was designed to require a full company to assault successfully. The 6 humans studied the target for only minutes before attacking. They moved like liquid shadow, each soldier covering the others with perfect timing. One soldier disabled the power grid with a device no larger than his fist. Another bypassed 3 layers of security using techniques that seemed impossible. A third eliminated the automated defenses with precision that suggested supernatural ability. The entire assault took less than 10 minutes. "Run that recording again," Tikvar whispered. They watched the footage 3 more times. Each viewing made it clear that these humans were operating on a completely different level than regular forces. Their movements were too fast, their coordination too perfect, their techniques too advanced. "Sir," the communications officer said nervously, "I have been monitoring their communications during the exercise." "What did you hear?" The exercise was being graded by instructors. This was a training evaluation for new candidates. Tekvar felt his blood freeze. "New candidates?" "Yes, sir. According to the transmissions, these soldiers were trying to qualify for something called Special Forces Selection. The instructors said their performance was average for candidates." The bridge fell silent. If this was average performance for candidates, what were actual Special Forces soldiers capable of? "There is more, sir," the communications officer continued. "I have been intercepting personal conversations between human soldiers. They discuss different types of Special Forces units." "Different types?" "Rangers, SEALs, Green Berets, Delta Force, and others. Each appears to specialize in different mission types. The soldiers speak about them like they are legends." Tekvar ordered his crew to continue monitoring. Over the following days, they gathered fragments of information that painted a terrifying picture. Human Special Forces were not just elite soldiers. They were specialists trained for missions that regular forces could not handle. Some specialized in operating behind enemy lines for months without support. Others focused on surgical strikes against heavily defended targets. Still others were experts in unconventional warfare and sabotage. The most disturbing discovery came when they detected a conversation between 2 human officers discussing recent operations. "The situation on Kepler 442 is getting complicated," one officer said. "We might need to send a team." "Just one team?" the other asked. "Intelligence reports suggest there are over 10,000 hostile forces in the area." Sergeant Yoon Seok Jin's team can handle it. They have experience with similar situations. "How many in his team?" 12 operators. 12 operators against 10,000 enemies. The humans discussed this like it was a routine assignment. As the days passed, the Calarian observers began to understand the true scope of human military organization. Regular forces were the backbone of their military, capable of defeating any known alien army. But special forces were something else entirely. They watched training exercises where small teams of special forces soldiers defeated entire battalions of regular human troops. They observed equipment demonstrations where special forces operators used technology that seemed decades ahead of standard military gear. Most frightening of all, they intercepted communications suggesting that what they were observing was only the beginning of human military development. "Lieutenant Colonel Han So-young to Research Division," one transmission said. "Request update on Project Prometheus." "Colonel, preliminary tests on enhanced human subjects are exceeding expectations. Physical and mental capabilities are showing improvements of 300% over baseline." "Enhanced humans?" Tekvar asked his communications officer. "Unknown, sir. But they appear to be developing soldiers that are even more capable than current special forces." The intelligence gathering mission continued for 3 weeks. By the end, the Silent Wing had collected enough data to fill entire databases. But the more they learned, the more terrified they became. Human military doctrine was unlike anything in galactic history. They planned for every possible scenario, trained for missions that other species would consider impossible, and equipped their forces with technology that pushed the boundaries of known science. Regular human soldiers were trained to fight independently, think creatively, and adapt to any situation. They were given authority to make decisions that alien militaries reserved for senior commanders. Special Forces soldiers were trained to operate as force multipliers. A single team could accomplish missions that would require entire divisions of alien troops. They were experts in everything from direct combat to psychological warfare to technological sabotage. And beyond Special Forces, humans were developing enhanced soldiers with capabilities that bordered on supernatural. As the EI's Silent Wing prepared to leave human space, Thekvar compiled his final report. The conclusion was simple and terrifying. Humanity possessed the most advanced military in galactic history. Their regular forces had already proven superior to anything the galaxy could field. Their special forces were capable of missions that defied military logic, and they were continuing to develop even more capable soldiers. The galaxy was not dealing with a primitive species that had gotten lucky. They were facing an apex predator that had been preparing for galactic warfare long before they had achieved interstellar travel. As the stealth ship slipped away from Earth, Thekvar made one final observation. Human space was filled with the signs of a civilization that expected war and was prepared for it. Every planet was fortified. Every system was defended. Every citizen was potentially a soldier. The hunt for information about human special forces had revealed something far more disturbing than enhanced soldiers or advanced weapons. The distress signal came from the dead zone of space, a region where no intelligent life was supposed to exist. The automated beacon transmitted in an ancient language that human computers barely recognized. Dr. Zhang Un-Su, the expedition's xenobiologist, had spent 3 days decoding the message. "It is definitely a distress call," she reported to Commander Oh Jin-ho as their ship approached the signal's source. "But the language is old, maybe thousands of years old. Whatever sent. This message has been broadcasting for a very long time." Commander Oh Jin-ho studied the tactical display from the bridge of the Pathfinder. His Special Forces team had been assigned to this mission after regular scouts detected unusual energy readings in the area. The mission was simple: investigate, make contact if necessary, and report back. "Any signs of life, Warren?" he asked. "Negative on active life signs," replied Master Sergeant Lim Hae-jin, the team's medic and electronics specialist. "But I am detecting artificial structures on the 4th planet. Big ones." The planet appeared on the main screen as they entered orbit. Ancient cities covered the surface, their towers reaching toward the sky like fingers of dead giants. Everything was perfectly preserved, as if the inhabitants had simply vanished. "Captain An Sung-min, take us down," Oh Jin-ho ordered. "Standard reconnaissance formation, Dr. Zhang, you are with the first team. We need to know what happened here." What they did not know was that they were being watched. A galactic council monitoring station hidden in the asteroid belt of a nearby system had detected the human ship's arrival. The station's crew watched with growing interest as humanity responded to the distress signal. Station Commander Wexalani, a tall insectoid being with compound eyes, observed the human ship through long-range sensors. "Fascinating," he clicked, in his native language. "They respond to distress calls from extinct civilizations. Either they are very brave or very foolish." "Perhaps both," replied his second-in-command. "Look at the size of their ship. Only 50 humans aboard. Our protocols would require a full exploration fleet for this type of mission." Wexlani adjusted the sensors for better resolution. "Focus on their landing party. I want to see how they handle unknown threats." On the planet's surface, Oh Jin-ho's team moved through the ancient city with practiced efficiency. Each soldier carried advanced scanning equipment and weapons that looked deceptively simple. Their movements were smooth and coordinated, like a single organism with multiple bodies. "These buildings are older than anything in our databases," Dr. Zhang reported as they approached what appeared to be a central temple. "The architecture suggests a civilization that was highly advanced, maybe more advanced than current galactic standard." Sergeant Moon Jae-sung, the team's demolitions expert, stopped at the temple entrance. "Commander, I have got energy readings from inside. Something is still active down there." Oh Jin-ho made hand signals to his team. Without a word, they shifted into combat formation. Dr. Zhang moved to the center of the group, protected by soldiers who seemed to anticipate her movements. Chief, Warrant Officer Kang Minho, what do your sensors show? Oh Jinho asked quietly. Kang studied his handheld device. Automated defense systems, sir. Still functional after all these years. Looks like this place does not want visitors. The monitoring station crew watched in fascination as the humans approached the temple. Automated defenses that had kept alien archaeologists away for centuries began activating. Energy barriers appeared across doorways. Weapon turrets emerged from hidden positions. Warning signals echoed across the dead city. They are walking into a death trap, Wexelani observed. Those defenses destroyed a Nexian expedition team just 50 years ago, but the humans did not retreat. Instead, they began working. Kang produced a device no larger than a datapad and began scanning the energy barriers. Standard quantum resonance pattern, he announced. I can disrupt it with a localized field pulse. Wait, Oh Jinho said. Moon, can you see a way around the turrets? Moon studied the weapon positions for less than 30 seconds. Yes, sir. If we approach from the north wall, there is a blind spot. I can plant shaped charges to take out the power conduits. The whole system will shut down. Too risky, Lim interjected. If the charges trigger a larger explosion, we could damage whatever is inside. Let me try a different approach. She produced what looked like a simple metal cylinder. When activated, it projected a beam that made the energy barriers flicker and fade. Harmonic interference, she explained. The barriers cannot maintain coherence if their frequency is disrupted. The monitoring station crew watched in stunned silence as the humans systematically dismantled defenses that had stumped alien scientists for decades. Each obstacle was analyzed, understood, and overcome within minutes. How are they doing this? Wexelani demanded. Those defenses use technology we barely understand. Perhaps, his second-in-command suggested, human technology is more advanced than we thought. Inside the temple, Oh Jinho's team discovered a vast chamber filled with crystalline data storage devices. At the center stood a holographic projector that activated as they approached. The image that appeared was of a being unlike any in current galactic databases. Tall, graceful, with features that suggested both intelligence and sadness. If you are receiving this message, the hologram began, then our warnings were ignored. We are the Valdari. We were the guardians of this galaxy for 10 million years. We protected the younger races from threats they could not imagine. Dr. Zhang quickly set up her recording equipment. This is incredible. A first-hand account of galactic history from before the current civilization. The hologram continued. But we failed. The Devourers came from beyond the galactic rim. They consumed entire star systems, turning matter into energy to fuel their expansion. We fought them for 1,000 years, but in the end, we could only delay the inevitable. Oh Jinho listened carefully while his team secured the chamber. Even in the presence of ancient mysteries, they maintained military discipline. We used our final years to prepare the galaxy for their return, the Valdari continued. We hid weapons, recorded our knowledge, and left warnings. The Devourers will return. They always return. When they do, the galaxy will need protectors. The hologram flickered and changed, showing star charts and tactical information. We have analyzed the species likely to arise after our extinction. Most will fall quickly to the Devourers. But there is one species that shows promise. A young race that will emerge from the third planet of a yellow star in the galactic rim. Dr. Zhang gasped. They are talking about Earth, about humanity. This species will be different, the Valdari explained. They will be warriors by nature, innovators by necessity. They will fight when others surrender. They will adapt when others despair. They will be the galaxy's greatest hope against the returning darkness. The holographic star chart zoomed in on human space. Detailed analyses of human psychology, military potential, and technological development covered the walls. We have prepared gifts for this species, the Valdari said. Weapons and knowledge they will need when the time comes, but they must prove themselves worthy. They must show that they can protect not just themselves, but all life in the galaxy. At the monitoring station, Wexelani and his crew watched the humans explore the ancient temple. They saw Ojinho's team discover technologies that could revolutionize galactic civilization. They watched human soldiers handle artifacts that other species would consider too dangerous to touch. "Commander," the sensor operator reported, "the humans are downloading massive amounts of data from the Valdari systems. Information that could advance their technology by centuries. And they are doing it without triggering any of the security protocols," Wexelani noted. "The temple is accepting them as authorized users." Inside the temple, the Valdari hologram delivered its final message. "The test has begun. If you are receiving this, then the warrior species has found us. Judge them not by their words, but by their actions. Are they protectors or conquerors? Will they use our gifts to defend the innocent or to dominate the weak?" The hologram gestured toward hidden chambers that were opening throughout the temple. "Choose wisely, warriors from the third world. The galaxy's future rests in your hands." Ojinho stood quietly for a moment, processing what they had learned. Then he activated his communication device. "Pathfinder, this is ground team. We have made contact with an ancient civilization. Uploading all data now. Request immediate. Contact with command. This is bigger than a simple reconnaissance mission." "Copy that, ground team," came the reply from Captain An Sungmin. "Admiral Kim Tae-ho is already en route with a full diplomatic team. ETA 6 hours. As Ojinho's team continued exploring the temple, they discovered weapon technologies that made their advanced equipment look primitive. Energy systems that could power entire fleets. Defensive technologies that could protect whole star systems. But they also found something else. Records of the Devourer's previous invasion, images of star systems being consumed, of entire civilizations dying in screaming terror, and calculations showing when the Devourers would return." "Commander," Dr. Zhang said quietly, "according to these records, we have maybe 50 years before they come back." Ojinho nodded grimly. "Then we had better get ready." The ultimatum arrived on a Tuesday morning, transmitted simultaneously to every human world and broadcast on all frequencies. The message was simple and terrifying. Submit to Galactic Council oversight, or face the combined military might of 12 star systems. Ambassador Ryu Tai-young read the message aloud to the emergency session of Earth's Governing Council. The room was filled with military leaders, scientists, and diplomats, all trying to understand how the situation had escalated so quickly. "They want us to limit our military development," Ryu continued. "All weapons research must be approved by Council oversight. Our fleet size must be reduced to match their standards, and we must accept permanent monitoring stations in our space." Admiral Kim Tae-ho leaned back in his chair. His weathered face showed no emotion, but those who knew him could see the anger in his eyes. "In other words, they want us to make ourselves defenseless. The alternative," Ryu said quietly, "is war against the entire galaxy." General Song In-young, the supreme commander of all human special operations, stood up slowly. She was a small woman who commanded attention through presence rather than size. When she spoke, everyone listened. "There is a third option," she said. The room fell silent. Song In-young had a reputation for unconventional solutions to impossible problems. "We show them what they are really dealing with," she continued. "They fear us because they do not understand us. They think our regular forces were lucky. They have no idea what our special forces can actually do." "What are you suggesting?" asked Dr. Lee Soo-jin, the architect of humanity's diplomatic strategy. Song In-young smiled. It was not a pleasant expression. "A demonstration. We let them choose the target, set the rules, and watch the show. Then we negotiate from a position of strength." 3 days later, humanity transmitted its response to the Galactic Council. They would neither submit nor declare war. Instead, they proposed a demonstration of capability that would inform future negotiations. The Council accepted, thinking they could use the demonstration to gather intelligence on human capabilities. They chose a moon in a neutral system, far from any inhabited worlds. The target would be a series of defensive positions protected by the most advanced alien technology available. What they did not expect was humanity's choice of demonstrators. Colonel Baek Hyun-woo stood on the bridge of the stealth transport Shadowwalker, watching the target moon grow larger on the screen. Behind him sat 11 other operators, each a specialist in their field. Together they represented the best of humanity's special forces. Target analysis complete, reported Major Shin Ye-won, the team's psychological operations specialist. 12 defensive positions, each protected by energy shields, automated weapons, and quantum sensors. Standard assault doctrine would require at least a full regiment. Good thing we are not standard, replied Sergeant Moon Jae-sung, checking his equipment one final time. The Galactic Council had assembled the greatest collection of military observers in galactic history. Representatives from every major species watched from ships positioned at a safe distance. They expected to see human forces struggle against superior alien technology. They were about to learn how wrong they were. Beginning descent, announced the pilot. Deployment in T-10 minutes. Baek Hyun-woo activated the communication system that would broadcast their mission to the watching aliens. Council observers, this is Colonel Baek Hyun-woo of the Human Special Forces. We are beginning the demonstration. Please note that this exercise represents standard capabilities only. On the observation ships, alien commanders leaned forward in anticipation. Standard capabilities. The humans were about to show them what their elite forces considered routine. The Shadowwalker approached the moon's surface like a ghost. Its stealth systems were so advanced that they made Calarian technology look primitive by comparison. The ship landed silently behind a mountain range, completely undetected by the defensive sensors. Phase 1, Insertion, Baek Hyun-woo announced as his team prepared to disembark. What followed was a masterclass in military precision. The 12 operators moved across the lunar surface like shadows, their powered armor making them nearly invisible to both visual and electronic detection. Each soldier carried equipment that was decades ahead of anything in the galactic database. First target acquired, whispered Chief Warrant Officer Kang Min-ho, the team's technology warfare specialist. Beginning electronic infiltration. The aliens watching expected to see a direct assault. Instead, Kang deployed a device the size of a coin that attached itself to the target's power grid. Within seconds, he had access to the entire defensive network. I am reading their command protocols, he reported. These systems are designed to stop conventional attacks. They have no defense against adaptive infiltration. Phase 2, Neutralization. Baek Hyun-woo announced. The first defensive position simply shut down. No explosions, no visible damage. The energy shields flickered and died, the weapons powered down, and the automated systems went silent. How did they do that? Demanded Veltar, from his observation ship. His tactical officer was studying the sensor readings with growing confusion. Unknown, sir. The defensive systems appear to have been turned off from the inside, but our sensors show no intrusion. On the moon's surface, Moon Jae-sung approached the second target. Instead of using conventional explosives, he deployed what appeared to be a simple metallic sphere. The device rolled toward the defensive position and began emitting a field that made the quantum sensors malfunction. Targeted disruption, he explained over the communication channel. Why destroy when you can disable? The second position went dark within minutes. The alien observers watched in growing horror as position after position fell to the human team. Each assault used different tactics, different technologies, and different approaches. The humans adapted their methods to each target as if they had been studying the defenses for months. This is impossible, the Nexian female Zelandra whispered. Those positions were designed by the best military engineers in the galaxy. Phase 3. Dominance, Baek Hyun-woo announced. The final phase of the demonstration was the most terrifying. Instead of simply disabling the remaining positions, the human team took control of them. Automated weapons turned toward space, their targeting systems now under human control. Energy shields reconfigured to protect human positions rather than defend against them. We now control all defensive systems on this moon, Baek Hyun-woo reported. Total mission time, 37 minutes. Casualties, 0. Ammunition expended, 0. The silence from the observation ships was deafening, but the demonstration was not over. Phase 4, Revelation, by Baek Hyunwoo continued. As the alien observers watched, the human team began revealing capabilities they had hidden during the assault. Advanced scanning equipment mapped the entire moon system in minutes. Stealth drones that had been undetectable throughout the mission suddenly became visible, showing that the humans had been monitoring everything from multiple angles. Most disturbing of all, the humans revealed that they had detected and identified every observation ship, including several that thought they were hidden. Council observers. Baek Hyunwoo addressed the watching aliens directly. We have been aware of your positions. Since before we began, your stealth technologies are ineffective against our sensors. Commander Wexelani, watching from his monitoring station, felt his compound eyes widen in terror. His ship was equipped with the most advanced cloaking systems in the galaxy, and the humans had detected it easily. There is one more thing you should know, Baek Hyunwoo continued. This demonstration used only 12 operators from a single Special Forces unit. Human Special Operations Command maintains hundreds of such units, each with different specializations. The colonel paused to let that information sink in before delivering the final blow. Additionally, what you have witnessed represents our standard Special Forces capabilities. We have not deployed our enhanced units, our experimental technologies, or our classified operational methods. On the observation ships, alien military commanders struggled to process what they had seen. A single squad of humans had neutralized defenses that should have required an army to overcome. They had done it using technologies that seemed like magic and tactics that defied military logic. The demonstration is complete, Baek Hyunwoo announced. We await your response. As the human team returned to their ship, they left behind one final surprise. Hidden throughout the defensive positions were monitoring devices that would continue recording alien activities in the system. The message was clear. Humanity could go anywhere, see anything, and act with complete impunity. The Galactic Council faced a new reality. They were not dealing with a primitive species that had gotten lucky. They were confronting a military force so advanced that their best defenses were worthless against it. In the emergency session that followed, the debate was short and decisive. The ultimatum was withdrawn. New negotiations would begin immediately, but the real message of the demonstration was deeper than military superiority. Humanity had shown restraint. They could have destroyed the observation ships. They could have used the demonstration to gather intelligence on alien weaknesses. They could have turned the show of force into an actual attack. The Great Assembly Hall of the Galactic Council had been rebuilt twice in its 1,000-year history. Once after the Void War, and once after the Nexian Rebellion. Today, it was about to witness the most important gathering in galactic history. Ambassador Ryu Tai-young walked through the massive doors with quiet confidence. Behind him came a small group of human advisors, including General Song In-young and Dr. Lee Soo-jin. The aliens in the hall watched them with a mixture of fear and respect that had not existed a month ago. The demonstration on the neutral moon had changed everything. Every species in the galaxy now understood that humanity possessed military capabilities beyond their comprehension. The question was no longer whether humans were dangerous, but what they planned to do with their power. Fellow beings of the galaxy, Ryu began as he took his place at the center of the hall. We come here today not as conquerors but as partners. A low murmur ran through the assembled delegates. They had expected demands for territory, tribute, or submission. Instead, the human ambassador was talking about partnership. Humanity seeks only peace and mutual prosperity, Ryu continued. We have no desire to rule over other species or claim their worlds. We want only to take our place as equals in the galactic community. Veltar, the Nexian representative, stood up slowly. His blue skin had regained some color since the demonstration, but his voice still carried uncertainty. Ambassador Ryu, your military capabilities far exceed anything we possess. How can we be equals when you could destroy any of us at will? Ryu smiled. It was a warm expression that seemed strange coming from a member of the galaxy's most feared species. Power without restraint is not strength. It is madness. Humanity learned long ago that true security comes not from the ability to destroy, but from the willingness to protect. He gestured to General Song and Young, who stepped forward. Despite her small stature, her presence filled the hall. "We propose the creation of a new organization," Song announced. "The Galactic Defense Corps, a joint military force dedicated to protecting all species from threats both internal and external." The delegates exchanged glances. This was not what they had expected. Human special forces would form the core of this organization, Song continued. But every species would contribute according to their strengths: Nexian technology, Kalarian logistics, Vorthon engineering, human military expertise. Together, we would be stronger than any of us could be alone. Dr. Lee Soo-jin activated a holographic display that filled the center of the hall. Star charts showed trade routes, colony worlds, and strategic positions throughout the galaxy. "We have identified several immediate benefits," she explained. "Piracy in the Outer Rim has increased by 40% in the last decade. The Theta Sector insurgency threatens shipping lanes vital to 6 different species, and our analysis of ancient Valdari records suggests external threats that require unified response." The mention of the Valdari made several delegates shift uncomfortably. Word of humanity's discovery had spread throughout the galaxy, along with disturbing implications about returning threats from beyond the galactic rim. "You ask us to trust you with our security," observed the crystal being from Vorthan space. "But what guarantees do we have that you will not use this power against us?" General Song stepped forward again. "You have the best guarantee possible. We already have the power to dominate the galaxy, yet we choose cooperation instead. Actions speak louder than promises." She activated another display showing detailed military analyses. Human special forces could neutralize any threat in the galaxy within days. Regular human forces could occupy any system within weeks. Our technology could disrupt galactic civilization within hours. The hall fell silent as the implications sank in. "Yet we are here talking instead of conquering," Song concluded. "That should tell you everything about our intentions." The debate continued for hours. Some species wanted guarantees. Others demanded territorial concessions. A few suggested limitations on human military power. Each concern was addressed with patience and logic. Humanity offered to share defensive technologies. They proposed joint training programs. They suggested cultural exchange initiatives to build understanding between species. But they made one thing absolutely clear: human military capabilities would not be limited or controlled by others. They would use their power responsibly, but they would not surrender it. The breakthrough came when Commander Park Woo-jin entered the hall. He led a small group of humans in unfamiliar uniforms marked with symbols from multiple species. "I present the first graduates of the Interstellar Special Forces Program," General Song announced. "Humans trained in alien technologies and cultures, ready to serve anywhere in the galaxy." Park stepped forward and spoke in perfect Nexian, then switched to Kalarian, then to the crystal harmonics of Vorthan communication. His small team demonstrated similar linguistic abilities. "We are not just human soldiers anymore," Park explained in Standard Galactic. "We are guardians of galactic peace, trained to understand and protect all species." The demonstration continued, as Park's team showcased equipment that combined human military technology with alien innovations. Weapons that used Nexian energy crystals, armor incorporating Kalarian adaptive materials, communications gear based on Vorthon harmonic principles. "This is what cooperation looks like," Dr. Lee explained. "Not human dominance, but human protection, enhanced by galactic knowledge." The vote, when it finally came, was unanimous. The Galactic Defense Corps would be established with human special forces at its core. Each species would contribute resources and personnel according to their capabilities. But the real change came in the weeks that followed. The first joint operation was against pirates in the Kepler sector. A single team of enhanced human special forces operators, supported by alien intelligence and logistics, eliminated a threat that had plagued shipping for years. The second operation rescued hostages from a terrorist group in Vega system. Again, a small human team accomplished what would have required a full fleet using conventional methods. By the end of the first month, requests for assistance were flooding in from across the galaxy. Species that had initially feared humanity now competed to partner with them. The transformation was remarkable. Trade routes became secure overnight. Conflicts that had simmered for decades were resolved through negotiation, backed by the implicit threat of human intervention. The galaxy became more peaceful than it had been in centuries. But perhaps the most significant change was in how other species viewed humanity. The fear remained, but it was now mixed with respect and gratitude. Humans were still the most dangerous, warriors in the galaxy, but they used that danger to protect rather than threaten. General Song and Young stood in her office on Earth, looking out at the stars through the massive viewing window. Reports covered her desk detailing successful operations across the galaxy. Human Special Forces teams were deployed on dozens of worlds, keeping the peace and protecting the innocent. A soft chime announced a visitor. A young alien officer entered, one of the first non-humans to complete Special Forces training. She moved with the fluid grace that marked all graduates of the program. "General," the young Nexian said in accented but clear English, "I wanted to thank you before my deployment to the Outer Rim." Song turned and smiled. "What for, Lieutenant Zarthani?" "For showing us that strength without honor is meaningless," the alien replied. "My people fought wars for territory and resources, but you taught us to fight for something greater." Song nodded approvingly. "What did we teach you to fight for?" "For those who cannot fight for themselves," Zarthani answered without hesitation. As the young officer left for her assignment, Song reflected on how much the galaxy had changed. Humanity had achieved something unprecedented. They had become the dominant military force while gaining the trust and cooperation of those they protected. But she knew this was only the beginning. The Valdari record spoke of threats beyond the Galactic Rim. The enhanced soldier programs were producing warriors with capabilities that surpassed even current special forces. And humanity's technological development continued to accelerate. A communication alert drew her attention to the latest reports. Dr. Choi Mi-young's research team had achieved another breakthrough in human enhancement. The new soldiers would be faster, stronger, and more intelligent than anything the galaxy had ever seen. They would need to be. The ancient warnings spoke of enemies that consumed star systems. When they returned, the galaxy would need protectors capable of impossible, victories against overwhelming odds. Song smiled as she read the enhancement reports. The galaxy thought current human special forces were the peak of military evolution. They had no idea what was coming. In the depths of space, ancient monitoring systems detected the first signs of returning darkness. Automated beacons left by the Valdari began transmitting warnings to their chosen protectors. Humanity received the signals and understood their meaning. The real test was coming, but they were ready. The galaxy was under their protection now, and they had never failed to protect what mattered. As General Song often told her officers, "The galaxy called us special forces because they had not seen our regulars. Soon they will call our current forces regulars because they have not seen what comes next."